Hello, wonderful. This is Tax Coach Susan, protecting and illuminating taxpayers with easy to understand tax courses, tax classes, and tips. To make the other 2021 taxpayer tax update video shorter, I decided to separate in this video the data for small business owners or solopreneurs. So I recommend for you to watch the other 2021 tax update video for taxpayers. All right, I waited as much as I could so I could provide the most up-to-date data. So the information on this video is as of January 22, 2021. And in case you're wondering, who is Tax Coach Susan? I am an enrolled agent. I am enrolled to practice before the IRS anywhere in the United States. And I'm also a certified QuickBooks Pro advisor. Now, in case you're wondering what is an enrolled agent is registered to practice before the Internal Revenue Service to represent taxpayers anywhere in the United States. So I've been working in the financial world, since 1992. And I have represented small and multimillionaire business owners doing in-person tax audits before the Internal Revenue Service and in the state of Florida. Now, I now teach small business owners the ins and outs of taxes, the ins and outs of accounting, and the ins and outs of tax planning. That's 3 courses in one from scratch to bring about transformation. Oh yes, to bring about transformation to solopreneurs or small business owners. So my next course is going to be in Spanish, which is called Navegacion de Impuestos. All right, so now we go to 10 tax updates. And this video, I'm going to highlight the most useful information to keep it short and practical. So do you feel confused? It's like, wow, all kinds of loans, grants, and credits. But don't worry, I'm going to put it together in a nice, orderly fashion. So here it is, 1 through 8. The first PPP loan, the second PPP loan, and the EIDL advance, which is different than the EIDL loan, and the targeted EIDL advance, which is not yet available, but is cooking in the oven or cooling in the oven because it's already being signed into law. Then the charter venue grant, the employee retention credit, the payroll tax credit, and all of this information that I'm about to provide was actually taken from the SBA.gov and the IRS.gov. So I encourage you to continue to visit them if you need to. So here it is. This is a worksheet I created to put all the ducks in a row together so that we can compare them. So I'm going to zoom it out one part at a time. But before, I want to just put this out there. We all know that generally, or in most cases, loans are not taxable and not forgivable, right? Because it must be paid back. And grants are taxable and forgivable because it doesn't need to be paid back. I just want to put that out there because of the many changes that are happening that are not common. So let's start with the 2 PPP loans. PP, reminds me of the Ron Runner. PP, okay. 1 through 2 are the PPP loans, which are loans you apply through a lender so that the lender sends it to the SBA. Both of them are not taxable, regardless if it gets forgiven or not. And both are forgivable, and with both, you can deduct expenses. According to the last revenue ruling 2021-2, deductions of expenses are now allowed. All right. The first and the second loan, to be forgivable, you must use 60% for gross payroll, bonuses, commission, loss tips, payroll group health care, and employer retirement paid by the employer, not the employee, to maintain the same pay level. And 40% used for the same payroll above, or mortgage interest, rents, utility, workers' costs, property damage in 2020, or any qualified operating expenses. For the second loan to be forgivable, same thing, same as the first PPP loan, plus you must have used or will use the first PPP loan amount, and you must have had 25% income reduction in comparable quarters of 2019 to the quarters of 2020. And I just want to emphasize these. Do not confuse the 60% use for payroll to pay contractors, because contractors, they are going to get their own PPP loan. All right, so the next one, there are two very important parts here. First, both loans are still active. Both loans you can apply. So some lenders might not know this, but you can apply for the first one and the second one. So in order to apply for the second one, you must have had, of course, applied for the first one. And for both of them, the expiration date is March 31st, 2021. The second part of it is that there is the Form 3508S that you can now use to get your loan forgiven. If it is $150,000 or less, it's gonna require fewer calculations and less documentation. So it's gonna be a lot easier. And you must apply within 10 months after using the funds during the 8 to 24 weeks of disbursement, but no later than December 31st, 2020. So in other words, let's say you receive the disbursement back in June, for example. You had 8 to 24 weeks, which is called a cover period, to use it. From once you finish using it, then you count 10 months. But hopefully you use all of that money by December 31st, 2020. And then if you used it by the last day of December 31st, then you have 10 months after that to apply. But in most cases, now this is not data that I'm giving you here, this is my opinion. I think you should apply right away and you should not apply after May 2021. All right. And another tip, remember to apply for this loan, it is free. So you just call your bank and you use a participating lender, and it should be free. There is no fee to pay for if you get approved or you don't get approved. Unless you use the time of a professional to do it for you, then that's a different story. You have to pay them. But the loan itself is totally free. Also, only if your lender is not communicating with you like for a long time and you're having a lot of problems, and your lender it's not really, you see that your lender hasn't even sent it to the SBA, then only then you probably should use another lender or apply again through another lender. Otherwise, though, in most cases, you should not need to apply with several lenders. Just use one. The next one is the famous EIDLs. All of those EIDLs, you apply directly with the SBA. But each one is very different. The first EIDL, the EIDL Advance, is actually a grant. And even though I heard that it is not taxable, I have not been able to confirm it in writing. I looked on the IRS.gov and I even took a look at the new relief package, which is it's called Consolidated Appropriation Act 2021. I'm hoping really that the IRS will have it soon, because as an enrolled agent, we're supposed to go only by the written information, by what is written in the tax law from the original source. So we'll see. Hopefully the IRS will have it. Number 4, the EIDL loan. That is a regular loan. So it is not taxable, not forgivable either, and you can deduct your expenses just like a regular loan. And then we have that targeted EIDL Advance. It is still on the oven cooling. So even though it's been signed into law, it is not yet available. It's most likely going to be forgiven, and most likely it's not going to be taxable either. So we'll see. And number 6, as we know, the EIDL Advance expire, nobody can apply anymore, and it does not affect the PPP loan. In other words, if you have a PPP loan, you do not have to subtract the amount that you receive from the EIDL Advance. And then number 4, the EIDL loan, as we know, is a regular loan. The maturity is 30 years, 3.75 is a fixed rate for businesses, and 2.75 is for nonprofits. There's no prepayment penalty, no expiration date that I have found yet. And same thing with this one, the EIDL does not affect the PPP loan. And for the targeted EIDL advance, which is not yet ready, it is going to be up to $10,000 first to EIDL advance applicants who received only a partial amount or less than $10,000, and then it's going to be available to the new ones. Something very important with the targeted EIDL advance, because it's most likely a grant, it's most likely a forgivable loan, it's most likely not reportable as taxable. They're going to email to the prior applicants, so make sure that the SBA has your email address. And now I'm going to go very quickly to the Shutter Venue Grant. The Shutter Venue Grant is also on the oven, still cooling. It's not yet ready, and it's a grant, and most likely it's going to be not taxable, and it's going to be forgiven, and you're going to be able to deduct your expenses, and it's also through the SBA. The Employee Retention Credit is processed by the IRS, and it's a refundable credit. The payroll tax deferral is also processed by the IRS, and it's simply, I will pay my employee payroll taxes later. That's pretty much what it is. And cover number 8, the Charter Venue Grant. The status, as we know, is not ready yet, still cooling on the oven. But this is generally available for businesses that were destroyed by looting. An employee retention credit is refundable for businesses with employees, but not for self-employed, unless a self-employed has employees, and they're able to reduce their tax deposits, since credit is refundable up to $5,000 per employee if this employee earns over $10,000. And for the payroll tax deferral, it does not apply to Medicare and Social Security paid by the employee. It applies only to the employer part of Social Security that is due between March 27, 2020 to December 31st, 2020. For all employers or businesses, including self-employed, that have employees. Next one is with a charter venue, actually they can get up to 45% of their gross revenue as long as they have 50 or fewer employees that were operating since January 1st, 2019. For the employee retention credit, they can apply if their gross income dropped 50% in any quarter of 2020 compared to the same quarter in 2019. And this, it's not available for individuals that apply and receive the PPP loan. Same with if somebody gets a PPP loan, they cannot apply or be receiving unemployment income. Same thing, they cannot be getting an employee retention credit. And the credit is up to 50% of the up to $10,000 per full-time employee wages paid between March 13, 2020 and December 31st, 2020. And payroll tax deferral, it can be deferred up to 2 years, but 50% must be paid by December 31st, 2021, and the remainder, 50%, must be paid by December 31st, 2022. It only applies to the employer part of Social Security. For the payroll tax deferral, the PPP does not affect this option. They can have both. Because remember, for the payroll tax deferral, they're only deferring it. In other words, they're going to pay this tax later. All right, and now, I'm sure you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't even know if my loan is going to be forgiven. For those of you who have applied, received, and used a PPP loan, you have two options when it comes time to file. The first option is you file as if your loan was forgiven. You amend only if your PPP loan does not get forgiven. Your second option is to request an extension to wait for more changes. But at this point, we're pretty much out there, and file your tax return before the extension deadline. And I'm glad that now the Form 3508S is so much easier, and now people that have received $150,000 or less, they're going to be able to not do so many calculations, and less documentation is going to be required of all of them, which is a big majority. Most likely those who receive less than $150,000 and qualify for the PPP loan will get it forgiven, most likely. All right, now 5 reminders. Proper documentation equals proper tax preparation. To speed up and save time, remember your W-2s, your 1099 series, your IPIN, and your profit and loss and balance sheet, unless you're contractor or self-employed, you have an income and expense worksheet. The income and expense worksheet, you want to make sure you have all the numbers from January 1st through December 31st, 2020. Remember your miles, the meals, the home office expenses, the HSA, if you contributed or if you distributed to IRA, solo 401k or 401k. You know, we are transitioning to this new era, and this means more self-organization. To save time and to save money, especially time because that's priceless, you want to block time for tax self-organization to make sure you have all your documents ready before you set up your tax preparation appointment. So my hope is that this video, it's going to help, you know. Otherwise, if your tax matter is complex and you need guidance to gather everything together, request a separate consultation, sending all the details ahead of time so your accountant can block a time to get you ready for your tax preparation appointment. All right, so if you have employees, remember to send the Form 940, 941, the state payroll, the W-2s, no later than January 29th, but hopefully you already sent them. And if you have contractors, send them the Form 1099 miscellaneous. Hopefully you already sent them. If not, you want to do it before January 29th. And if your tax bill it's over $1,000, you need to send estimated payments, right? Well, the first payment of April 15 has been extended to July 15th. And then you make the rest of the estimated payments on June 15, September 15, and January 15th. And this is a great deduction actually. You can deduct your home office expenses on Form 8829 if you're a self-employed individual. And there's going to be a lot of you for 2020 that are going to be able to do this because of the quarantine. Just make sure that you measure the measurements that you report in this Form 8829 are exclusive for the use of your business. So for example, let me extend on this a little bit. Let's say you have your house and there are 3 bedrooms and one of them you use for your home office. Of course, you measure that entire room because you're using the entire room for your home office. However, if that bedroom is split in 2 where you have your bed on one side and you have your home office on the other side, you want to only measure the part of your home office used for business. If you need more information in regards to this, remember to send a proper request so you can get proper guidance, right? Or in order to get a proper guidance, it is essential to get a proper request. Actually, if you're a new business owner, I'm going to give you an incredible bonus tip so that you can get more results. Always schedule your consultations for your tax matter, for your tax questions, separately from your tax preparation appointment, separately from your tax planning appointment or your tax representation appointment. Hopefully you never have to set one of those. Now, for accuracy of tax compliance and accuracy of numbers, accountants are supposed to block one service at a time to concentrate on one client at a time, right? This works to your advantage because you want better results. So for you to get the best possible service, email or text your accountant the details of your questions and concerns ahead of time when you are setting up your separately paid appointment consultation. See, this way your accountant can block a separate time, prepare ahead of time, so when you both talk, your accountant is able to focus on you, giving you the best possible strategy or guidance. This is one of many wise and practical ways for many businesses to get more, to get better results. All right, last, it's number 5. This is very important. It's like, do you want to know how to pay 0 taxes? This is one of them. If you pay your children who are younger than 18 years of age, they do not pay Social Security or Medicare. Yep. Also, they do not pay federal taxes up to $12,400. You do not even have to issue them a W-2. Unless, of course, you or them, they're going to put the money toward a Roth IRA. Make sure, however, that when you pay them, you do not pay them from a corporation. You pay them from your DBA or your sole member LLC or your no-name business. In other words, pay them from the business that you report in your Form Schedule C, which is inside of Form 1040, from your self-employed business. That's where you use to pay them. And the amount you pay them, of course, you deduct it from your business and you pay 0 taxes on that amount, and they do not pay no taxes at all either. And of course, use proper judgment. You do not want to pay them a lot of money to a child who's 5 years old. While a child who's 5 years old can work, obviously you want to properly pay them, properly record how much you pay them, what they're doing, so you treat them as an actual employee. Okay. Also available is the 2021 taxpayer tax season update, so I encourage you to see it. And last, my wonderful friends, this course is one of my ways to protect and illuminate solopreneurs. And actually, my next live weekend course will be in Spanish, and it's called Navegacion de Impuestos. It's the base, it's the mainframe of taxes, accounting, and tax planning from scratch, all in one course for solopreneurs or self-employed individuals who speak Spanish. This course, my friends, is a developed product of years of tax research and years of experience to bring about transformation to solopreneurs and their next generation, so that they can be solopreneurs 2.0 better. So if you know somebody who may benefit from this course, please let them know. With all of my heart to yours, thank you for giving me the chance to be of service to you. Please share this information with your family and your friends so we can together simplify and declutter our tax life for the better, one heart at a time. High five! Yes! If you like this video, please subscribe, share with your family and friends. I will embrace your inspiring comments. Until next time, remind your heart to smile and fight for your dreams with honor and undying determination. Thank you so much.